Hello, today I'm gonna talk about my script queue for turn-based game system. It's a very simple system but has few advantages that make it kind of necessary for my project. First of all, it allows creating scripts that can be reused. This is different from Blueprint libraries because they also allow latent functions or like delayed functions in them. They also allow dynamic inputs. So if a variable is marked expose on spawn, it will show up in the node for the script. Allows creating timelines of things that need to happen in a specific order. So if I need to play an animation and then do something else after that animation, um, this the queue part will allow them to happen only one after each other. Allows the game state to prevent saving while the queue is active. I'll talk about this in the saving system video. Allows disabling player or NPC action while the queue is active. Even in my sample project, I do this checking if the queue has anything in it and not allowing the player to do anything if true. Um, so what I use it for most specifically, removing double code from blueprints. I have these different base classes for blueprints, player actions, NPC actions, and conditions. Then I, for example, have fire bullets script that has like a particle effects and other kind of stuff that I want to do defined in it. And instead of like copying that code to these different blueprints, I just have one script that runs when I want that stuff to happen. Then I have stuff like explosive barrels that can cause chain reactions if two explosive barrels are right next to each other and the first one explodes. When it does its damage, it sets the other one on fire, but then the first one finishes its animation, the particle effect and all the debris falling around uh, before that script is finished, and then the second script from the second barrel can start and that barrel can also explode. Then the scripts can set up story stuff in a level, so if a specific value is true, only then I will spawn a character in the level for that mission or that story situation or prop or whatever I need to do in the for that situation. Also allows me to do stuff like async load character assets and classes before spawning them. um, I do have an example here of like a character class loading. So while you do this, you can either like set the camera somewhere else or enable a loading screen or anything if you don't want to just see the character pop up there. But yeah, this one, and when you have the loading screen enabled, it can like run smoothly because it's not just like immediately making that character pop up there. It's like loading the loading the class over a few frames, and that helps with making the game smoother. Prevents turn manager from progressing while the queue is active. Of course, in my project, the turn manager is a little bit more complex than this update state function here in the sample project, but it's basically the same idea. So yeah, there is this script queue component that you need to add into the player controller of your the player controller, and here I have the top-down player controller from the sampler project, and I have added the script queue here. And that script queue component has a few functions. First, there's a get script queue component. If you just want to access the component where no matter what blueprint you are in. Then these two functions, create script and add script to queue. You don't need to call these by hand, rather the K2 node will handle calling these for you. And then there's perhaps the most important function that I mostly use, which is the hasQ function. For example, in the update state function of the player controller, I check hasQ, and if it's true, then it's not the player turn, and the player cannot send commands to the player character. And then there's has script in queue. So if you want to check if a specific class of a script is in the queue, you can use this function. Script queue component variables. First, there's the size of the pool. So I do use a pooling system for the scripts. This is not necessary for one-time or like very story-specific scripts that only happen once in a blue moon. Rather, this is more important for like fire bullet scripts or explosion scripts or anything like that that might trigger a lot of times, and you want to avoid the object being recreated a lot of times and causing like a problem in the garbage collection. Then there's queue and instance scripts arrays. So these are the arrays of the actual simple script objects. And you can see that there's this instant value here, and in this one it's false, which means that this goes to the queue array, and in this one the instant is true, which means that this goes to the instance scripts array, and then this one goes to the queue array as well. So that means that these two scripts happen one after each other. This second one happens only after this first one is finished. But this one, because it's an instant script, it happens the same time as this one. Um, you can still use the same system even though it kind of ignores the queue part of it. Counts. So I keep track of the how many times each class of script has triggered. Um, this is more important for like once in a lifetime, very specific scripts for like story or something like that, not for like gameplay stuff. Because if you like have it check that value, this repeat count value for gameplay stuff, then it like your bullets will stop firing at some point. So this is just there that you can like easily before you have to even create this object, you can check if it has triggered already before for like story-based stuff. Then finally, I have created scripts array of like hard reference to the object that I very recently created to make sure that they don't get cleared before I need to add them to the queue or anything like that. Then this delegates for like listening to the events of things happening in the queue. The most important ones are the on script added and on script finished. Um, so those are the situations that I'll listen to even in the sampler project. Similarly, in my own project, I listen to these in the turn manager. So on queue finish triggers the update state function, and similarly on script added also calls the update state function, which will then update the is player turn boolean, which determines if the player can trigger actions on the player controller. Yeah. Oh, sorry. On queue finish, finished is the second one. That's the most important one. In turn manager, the logic is a little bit more different because it takes account a lot more settings. But basically the same idea as in this sample project. Simple script functions. So in the actual scripts that you create with blueprints on added to queue, this function is triggered immediately when you create the script object. So for in the sample that I showed you, immediately when this node is called, it calls that on added to queue function, and similarly with these two. Um, but then the onActivate function will only be called either on the next tick of the script queue component, or in the case of this last sorry, that's the wrong project. In the case of this last script, this one will the onActivate function will only be called after this one has finished. So then one needs to wait longer. And then there's onDeactivate function that is important for stuff like cleaning up hard references. I also have these two values that I set to false. Hard references are of course important to clean up to make sure that the garbage collection happens without problems. And these one are important to reset if and only if you use the use script pool value as true. So which means that these this object um, will be reused, and if you don't reset these values either here or here before on after onActivate, or in the on script added function on added to queue, you could also do it here. Uh, then these values will stay as true because they were previously set to true by the script. Um, so yeah, and then there's finally deactivate function that has success input boolean. So for example, if you had like play animation function, or even in this sample script, if the character is no longer exists or something, I return false here, but normally I return true. You would also just like check if the player is dead or something at this point, and then return false if the player character has died. Okay, then the variables in the simple script. First, there's a reference to the queue component. Then there's boolean if the script is currently active. There's a use script pool setting. So what I showed you just a moment ago. This one to determine if it should use pooling. Again, for story stuff, you probably don't need it to be true. For gameplay stuff that triggers a lot of times, you might want to set it to true. And then there's the instant value, which determines if it goes to the instant or the queue array. Finally, there's simple script delegates on started, on cancelled, and on finished. And if you want to, in a, for example, action, or even in this trigger, you want to do something when this specific script has finished, you can listen to this delegate and then maybe like destroy this trigger when it has finished. Um, yeah, and do something when that specific script has finished. In my own project, in some actions that trigger, like for example, the fire bullets script, I listen to that event to then deactivate the action when the script has finished as well, because the fire bullets script has like some delay or something that uh, causes waits for the particle effects to finish before it moves forward. Okay, then yeah, just like I just said, there is the K2 node, which combines the two functions, uh, create script and add script to queue. What it does is it kind of creates this new node out of them, and then also adds the dynamic inputs between them. So first it creates the create script, calls the create script function in the component, the script queue component, and then sets the dynamic input values on that newly created object, and then calls add to queue function in the script queue component. It works a lot like the spawn actor. K2 node in the base code, which is where I like to learn how to do this. Yeah, I won't go through this whole code, but it's very similar to that. And like basically, yeah, it creates a pin for each of those variables with the expose on span tag enabled, and allows you to just create one node out of it with like doing this thing like create simple script, create simple script, and then you choose the script that you want to use, and then it automatically populates these pins here, and you can change the values here. And if you change the script, then it changes the values that you see here. And again, that's just by making checking this flag here, expose on spawn. Also need to expose uh, flag this one, but yeah. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the code. Then we can look at the sample project a little bit. It's just a top-down sample project with a bunch of stuff added, like the component added to the player controller, and then I added this trigger that creates 3 of these scripts here, and then 2 sample scripts, and I think that's pretty much it. So we can see it in action. So this first script has a delay, then it plays player animation on the player character, and then another delay, and then it deactivates. And then this other script, it can save the current lighting color, then it sets the lighting color to whatever you want it to set in this value, and then depending if there's a delay or not, it either deactivates the script immediately, or after the delay it resets the color to the original. And so what you will see is that it will first trigger this script, and then it will simultaneously trigger this script, and then when this script is finished, it will trigger this script. So I will walk there, the lighting sets, it's still playing the animation, and then you see the lighting reset to white. So the 2 scripts are happening at the same time, but the third script happens after the animation and delay has finished. And if I change this so that this one uses, oh, there is a delay here. I don't actually know why there is a delay here. Yeah, if it works like that, then you will see them happening after each other instead of happening at the same time. Only then you will see the light change and go back to the original. Yeah, I think I had this was actually working correctly, because this was supposed to be like this before I change show the other example. Yeah, then that's pretty much it in like how the logic works. There's also some ways you can debug this system. So for example, you can just set this delay to 40 seconds, and then when you go here, the lighting won't reset back to, because it's still running this part of the code, it's still in the delay. You can select the object here, of course, to see what's going on. You can see that this delay is happening here, but there's also another way to debug it. And if you want to like keep track of some variables or stuff like that, you can also click on this player controller here and then click on the script queue, and you can see all the objects in the queue. Right now, for some reason, I have two of each of the scripts here. I'm not sure why it somehow triggered the function twice in a row. But yeah, you can look at these objects, like what's happening in them. Here I can see that the animation and the initial delay have both finished, and the animation interrupted value is false. Um, oh, actually, I forgot to set that up. I did this separately from the sample project that I uploaded. Um, so if the animation would somehow get interrupted, you could like keep track of that, like because if you do this, then let's look at this one again. This time I only have one of each. But yeah, now it doesn't really show which one it went to here at this point, because that is already like passed. But in this one, if you click on the object, you can still see this value, or like if you want to track it somehow, you can set it there. So that's like another way, or alternative way to debug what's happening in these scripts if you like set these kind of values here. I also forgot to add this one here, like you should also clear this one if you do this one. Yeah, so that's pretty much the system. Like I said, it's not very complicated, but it allows you to do stuff that has like a delay or stuff like that in it, and make sure that the turn manager or the saving system won't try to do anything while the scripts are going on. So as an example, if I would add the saving system to this one, I would also implement the block saving function here. So block saving would be just like here, if I had the eSave interface here, and then if it's not a player turn, then the game cannot save, because then we also know that there's stuff in the queue. So if I was using the save system with this, then I would also do this function to like prevent the game from saving while there's anything in the queue, when like some game state can change somehow. Okay, thank you for watching. I don't know how useful this system can be for anyone, but you are free to use it. I uploaded it to GitHub, and the sample project is on Google Drive, so if you want to check them out, be welcome to use them for free in any project. Thanks for watching.